Recording in progress.
Good morning, students. So today for your operating system lab, for exercise 9, you'll be looking into file organization techniques. Okay, that is two-level directory for file organization techniques. Okay, so first we'll look into what are the terms under file organization. Okay, and what happens there, and then we'll move on to the different levels. Okay, so this is the output. File organization, your single level directory, your two level directory, and your hierarchical. Okay, and then we look into a small snippet code of how it works. So coming to file organization, so the directory contains, okay, as you can see, file organization simply means that we have two common terms here, okay, directories and files. Okay, so what does a file contain? Okay, a file contains all the information or the data that we want to store it within. Okay, so that is a file. Okay, and what is a directory and what difference do they make? The directory contains information about the files. Okay, files contain the data that we want to store, and the directory contains information about the files. Okay, including attributes, location, and ownership. Okay, so the directory is itself a file. Okay, which is owned by the operating system and which is accessible by various file management routines. Okay, and sometimes the directories could also have subdirectories. Okay, so these terms are the common terms here, which you should remember under file organization. So coming to what a directory is, okay. So a directory is a container, okay, that is used to contain folders and files, okay. So here you can see that this would organize files and folders in a hierarchical manner, okay, which helps us to sort out files in a very easier way, okay. So as you can see, we have a directory here, a single directory, and then we have subdirectories here, D11, D12, D13, and 14 are different subdirectories. And you can also see that we have D11 has 3 files, file 1, 2, and 3, and D12 has file 4, and D13 has file 5 and file 6. Okay. So as you can see, the number of files varies according to the user's requirement. Okay, here the directory does not have any limitation. Okay, it does not provide any number of file limitations. This depends on the user's requirement. Okay, this is all about what a directory contains and what a directory does. So now we'll move on to the levels of directory. Okay, so here we have a single level directory, okay, a two level directory, and a hierarchical order. Okay, so we look into each level. Okay, so the first one is a single level directory. Okay, so here the single level directory has a very simplest directory structure. Okay, so all the files are contained in the same directory. Okay, we put all the files under the same directory. For example, if we have D1 would have all the files. File 1 to 6 would be put into D1 directory. Okay, here what happened, this would help us to make it easy to support and to understand, okay, for the user. So this single level directory, okay, even though it has a simple directory structure this level has a limitation, okay, that is as the number of file increases, or when a system has more than one user, that is when a multi-user is involved or multi-user access is needed, all the files are in the same directory. Okay, since all the files are in the same directory, they must have a unique name. Okay, they are supposed to have a unique name. And if two users call their data set as test, okay, user A and user B have named their data set as test, okay, then the unique name rule is violated. That is, the system would have a difficulty in accessing the file, which file to be accessed. Okay, so this is the limitation which is faced in single level directory. So as we move on, as you look into the diagram, you'll be able to understand how it works. Okay, so here this single level directory is also said to be root directory. Okay, so what it means is that we have a root directory. Okay, as you can see, since it has a single directory, it also acts as a root directory. Okay, and it has different files under it. A, B, C, D. All the files are under the same directory. Okay. And you can see another like advantage which we can look into is locating files are quick. Okay, since all the files are under the same root directory, it is simple and easier to locate files. Okay, but it cannot be used in a multi-user system. Okay, it can be used under a single user system, or it can be used on small embedded systems. So this is the representation or how it looks. Okay, we have different directories and each directory has its own files. Okay. Okay, so coming to the advantages and disadvantages of a single level directory. Okay, since it is a single directory, its implementation is very easy. Okay, because we store all the files under a single directory. And if the files are smaller in size, since the searching becomes faster. Okay, we get our results faster. We'll be able to locate the files in a quicker way. And the operation files like file creation, searching, deletion, updating are very easy in such a directory structure. But the disadvantages which we face here is that name collision. Okay, the first thing is name collision because two files are allowed to have the same name. Okay, but searching will become time taking if the directory is large. Okay, the file size of the directory has to be small. Okay, if not, it takes a longer time. And this cannot group the same type of files together. Okay, that is, these are the disadvantages which are faced in a single level directory. So as of now, we've seen in a single level directory, what a single level directory is, its structure, okay, how it works, its limitations and advantages and disadvantages. So with this, we'll be moving on to the second level, two level directory. So when you come to the two level directory, so as we saw in the single level directory, we had a limitation. The limitation was name collision. Okay, so to solve or give a solution to it, two level directory is introduced. Okay, so the solution here is to create a separate directory for each user. Okay, in single level directory, all the users have the same directory. Okay, but here each user would have their own separate directory. Okay, so in the two-level directory structure, each user has their own UFD, that is user file directory. Okay, they have the UFDs have similar structures. Okay, but each would list only the files of their single user. Okay, so here we have MFD, master file directory. Okay, which will search and provide each new user a new ID and a login. Okay, that is, each user will have their own directory and their own separate file system. Okay, so the MFD is indexed by your username or account number, and each entry points to the user file directory is provided only for that single user. That is, user A will have a single directory, user B will have another separate directory. Okay, so this is why this is how two-level directory was introduced, and this is all that happens under two-level directory. So this is the representation or this is structure of it. Okay, so probably in the single level directory we had the directory and different files, but here we have users under each user. Okay, each user has a single directory or a separate directory, not a single directory. Each user has a separate directory and they can have their own number of files as required, and each user can have any number of directories. Okay, okay, so here this name collision, okay, this two-level directory was chosen so that this name collision, when a name is chosen by one user, does not interfere with the names chosen by another user. Okay, So we have another structure representation where you can see probably in the single level, we had a root directory from where all the files were connected. Okay, but it consists of all the files. But here the root directory consists of the users. Okay, and from henceforth the user would have the directories, and within the directories the files would be located. So the advantages and disadvantages here are that the advantages is that we will be able to, when we're going to search for a file, we can give a full path like a username, directory name, which makes it easier for us to locate the file. Okay, and different users will be able to have the same directory as well as the same file name. Okay, and searching of files become easier because we hold the path name, and since the user grouping is also uh, because of the user grouping is accessible. And the disadvantage here would be that a user is not allowed to, or they cannot share files with other users. And still, this idea is not very scalable. Two files of the same type here cannot be grouped together under the same user. Okay, two files of same type, okay, cannot be grouped together when they are under the same user. So as of now, we've seen what two-level directory is, what happens here, its structure. Okay, it's how it is easier, how it becomes easier to access a file when it is under a two-level directory file organization. Okay, so your third one is hierarchical directory. Okay, so here the two. So your last one, that is your hierarchical directory. The two-level directories, okay, where we eliminate, where the name conflicts are eliminated among users, but it is not satisfactory for the users, but since it has a large number of files are not allowed, like, okay, either in a single level directory or in a two-level directory. We were able to save the name collision, okay, problem in this two-level directory, but still, okay, the number of files, that is large number of files, okay, this was the users were unable to use it, okay, in both the levels. So this is where hierarchical directory is introduced, okay. To avoid this, okay, as in to create the subdirectory and load the same types of files into the subdirectory. Okay, so in this method, each can have many directories as needed. Okay, so here in the hierarchical directory, another term called and another system called subdirectory is introduced. Okay, so we look into it. Okay, so this is the structure of the hierarchical directory. Okay, so here, as you can see, there's a root directory, and we have three users, and we also have subdirectories. Okay, subdirectory, and also, and these users can have their own files. Okay, they have subdirectories. They have, and each subdirectory has any number of files which the user requires. Okay, so making the large number of files to be saved or accessible or to be created by the users. So this directory structure kind of looks like a tree. So this is also called as the tree level directory structure. So these are the three types of directories, and we'll look into a short snippet of how it works. So as you can see, all the 3-level techniques in the file organization has been implemented here. So it depends on a choice. So if I'm going to do the single level, okay, and I'm going to enter the file name as a sample. Okay, I don't want to create any more files, so I'm giving a no. Okay, so you can see here that the file structure is given here. Okay, the root, the directory, and the file and the sample. Okay, and I'm giving to exit, and I'm going to check in my file. Okay, in my files, and okay, so we have our, we'll go for the second choice now, 2-level directory, and I'm going to enter this 2, and okay, so now see in C users, files OneDrive under my, okay, the given file, the directory path is available here. Okay, so the directory has been created, and I've asked if I want to create more files, and I'm giving yes. Okay, but then since the directory is empty, okay, it is requesting to ask if I want to create for more directories, and I'm giving no. Okay, I'm satisfied with a single directory. So here, as you can see, the structure is given here. The rule, the directories, okay, and the name of the directory is given here. Okay, so okay. Okay, so now I'll be going for the third one. So I'm going to create a directory. Okay, I'm giving one so that I could create a directory. Okay, and I'm going to create a file there. Okay. Then I've asked if I want to create more files. Okay, so now if I want to create files, I can click for 2, okay, and enter the file name. And I don't want to create another file, so I'm giving okay. So under this, okay, this is the path here. Okay, under this, okay, I have my directory has been created, okay, and my files have been stored. Okay, so as you can see under my directory, SAM3, there are SAM4 and SAM5. My files have been created. Okay. So this is your explanation and your small snippet of code has been implemented for you. I hope you have understood. Thank you.